Hi guys, I'm so glad to have you all back to my channel. My name is Adelan. Welcome once again. If you're new to my channel, you're welcome. Consider subscribing and don't forget to turn on the bell icon so that you get to know anytime I post new videos. So today I'll be showing us another trick to make your project, your sewing project, to stand out from the crowd, and I'll be using the complex pleat and fold method. So if you're interested, let's get started. This is the things I'll be using to make this beautiful dress. So I have my lining, the bridal satin. For the lining, I'm using 1 yard. Same with the bridal satin, I am using 1 yard as well. And then I'm working with 7 yards of net. So this is going to be for a year old, or say 6 months to 1 year old. You can use this measurement to do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is to take my pattern, because I'll be adding a yoke to the bodice part. So here I have my pattern. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I know most of us already know how to add a yoke, but I'll be repeating it again for the newcomers in the house. So the thing I'm going to do now is to come up on this chest line. You can see I'll just come up by 0.75 or 1 inch. If you don't want it to be too open, you can just make it 1 inch, but I'll be using 0.75 and it's still okay. So I'm just mark that and connect it straight to this armhole line. So this upper side is the yoke side. You can see that it's very easy. So I'm going to remove this because I want to maintain to keep my pattern. I don't want to waste it, so I'll just repeat that on this one. So I'll just check what I have from the neckline. It is 1.5, so I'll just mark it and connect it straight. So this upper side now, it is the yoke, and then the plate, we are going to be creating the plate and then place it on this other side. Okay, so I'll just connect this one straight and then cut it out. When we want to cut on your fabric, make sure to add your sewing allowance on both the yoke part and this other side. It's very easy. So let me just cut this out and we go straight to the tutorial. Alright, here is the yoke part. I'm going to use my net for this part. It's going to be plain. So this is where we are going to focus now. So the first thing I'm going to do is to check what I have from this center line to this chest point. So it is 5.75. If I open it up, that should be 23 inches. That is for the chest measurement. And remember that this includes my side sewing allowance. That is why it's up to 23 inches. So the actual chest measurement is 21, but I added enough allowance. That is why it is 23 inches. Remember that this is just half. If you open it up, it's going to be half of that 23, but the actual chest measurement is 21. So here I have 23 inches. I'm going to multiply that by 3. Whatever you have, that is what I'll be cutting out to use to create the pleat. So work with your own measurement. If the chest measurement of the one you're working with is 24, multiply by 3, and that is what you use to cut out the strap that we're going to use to create the pleat and fold. So I'm going to multiply the 23 now by 3 and then cut that out on my net. So this is 2 yards and this other one is 5 yards. This 5 yards, I'm going to use this for the skirt part. So I'm going to take this 2 yards and open it up, then cut it out exactly the way I just explained. Multiply the chest measurement by 3 and then I'm going to cut that out. Alright, here I have my strap already cut out like I explained earlier. I multiplied the chest measurement 23 by 3 and I have 69. So here I have 69 inches long and I have 3 inches on this part. This is 3 inches. Now I'll be using ½ inch on both sides for sewing allowance. After doing that, you trim it very well and then turn it inside out. So this is the first one. I'm going to take the second strap and place it on it and then sew the sides together and turn it inside out. Now this part depends on how bold you want the pleat to be after sewing. If you don't want it too bold, you can use 2 inches. On this part you can use 2 inches, so that by the time you finish sewing it will be to be 1 inch and you're going to have a very small pleat. But I don't want mine to be too small or too bold, so that is why I am using 3 inches. So after sewing, this is what it will look like. Now you see what I have here. After sewing it and then you turn it inside out, For this, I'm not giving it a good press yet, but I'm going to do that later. So this is what I have. Now, for example, you're working with, for an older child, all you need to do is to join it in case, you know, this net sometimes comes by 60. That is the height, is always by 60. So you can join it if what you have after calculating is more than the 60, you can always join that. So after joining, all you need to do is to make sure that the part that is joined should go in when you're pleating, so that the stitching or the seam will not be visible. So when you fold in, when you plait it in, the seam should be inside, that way it will not be visible. So I'm going to take this now and place on this part. Remember this side, this other side is going to be for the yoke. So I'm going to place it exactly on this line. That is after pleating. Okay, so the first thing to do, I'll plait. After pleating, you're going to place it there. Now to plait, this is how I'm going to plait it. I'm starting this side, so I'll take the first plate to face me. Okay, so this is called an inverted pleating method. So the first one is going to face me, and I'm using 1/2 inch for each of my pleats. Okay, you can see I use 1/2 inch to fold in, and I'll also use another 1/2 inch to fold in, but on this other side now. Okay, this is how I'm going to fold. After folding, I will sew in between this. I'm going to sew it at the center after pleating. So this is the first one. So I'll repeat what I just did. I'll take the first pleat again, making sure that it's half. If you want yours to be more than that, you go ahead and do. You see, this one is facing me, and then I'll take the other half as well to face this other way. Okay, and then I'm going to stitch in between. After stitching it now, I'm going to show us how to fold the plates again. So this is the most important part of this tutorial. Make sure that you watch it very well so you don't make any mistakes. So I'll just take this and do the plating, then we continue. Okay, as you can see, after pleating, this is what I have. I just finished pleating and then sew it straight on the satin. The lining is not included yet. So this is how it's done. So this is the pleating side. The next thing to do now is to decide to fold each of your plates. Now for this part, you can decide to play around with it. You can decide to just fold, take the first plate with the second one this way. As you can see, you can decide to fold this way and then use your bead to secure it, or you can decide to take the 4 points here and bring it together and fold. So this part you can just play around with it. You can also just leave it as it is, then use your pearls or your beads to close up, because that is the important part of this upper side, to close up this thread, that is your stitching line, so that your work will look neat. All right, so you can just decide whichever one you prefer to use. So I'm going to use the beads and close up the line, and maybe I'll decide to fold or do that for another one. So this is how I'm going to finish up this part, and this is one of our July piece. I decided to show you guys how we produce this. So if you want us to make a special occasion outfit for a baby girl, you can just send us a DM and we're going to give you a very unique dress. So I'm going to finish up like I just said. I'll use my needle and thread and then attach the beads and then join the shoulders together, the neckline, the armhole, and turn it inside out and give it a good press. If you're a returning subscriber, you should know how to do all these parts. So I'll quickly do that so that I can join the skirt part and then we finish up the dress. So guys, this is where we are so far. As you can see, after joining the neckline, the armhole together and then turn it inside out, I now join with the skirt part. Now this is what our pleats and fold look like. Now you can see that this way your work is going to look very different and nice. So at this point you can always play with this part. You can see the way I folded it. I just take the two take the one up and the one down and then use my thread to stitch it there. You can also fold this other way. Okay, this side now you can just be creative with this part. You can decide to give it a nice looking shape, that is on this plate side. So the next thing I'm going to do is just to use my pearls or my tiny bead just to close up, because I use my thread and you can see that the thread is a little visible. So I'm going to use my tiny beads just to close it, because I don't want that to be visible. If you have enough, you can also use your beads on this stitching line inside before closing this way, okay, so that your work will look more attractive. So this is the skirt part. This is what I have, a leftover from the previous video that I showed, so I decided to attach it here. You know, in this business nothing should be wasted, so I decided to attach it to give it another shape. So this is how to go about making this beautiful dress. So if you're interested in any of our online classes, kindly check the description box for a number to reach out on how to go about registering for the classes. So that is it for today. Please give this a try and you will see that there's nothing much to it. Just put your mind to it and you will get it right. See you guys in my next video.